Alright, so I guess 4 in the morning is going to be my new recording time for the next little bit. Not by choice, really, just by happenstance. Um, it's the only time I can really feel comfortable to record, let alone have time to record. But also, surprisingly, alcohol is pretty helpful, actually. So, lately I've been starting to drink here and there, casually. And, there's this game I've been playing that's a mix of, like, psychological horror with a lot of like philosophical elements, and surprisingly, that with alcohol is not not a nightmare. It's actually a really good time, and I'll do that for a couple hours every night, and then it's 4 in the morning, and I'm kind of weaning down off the alcohol. And I'm like, you know what? I I all of a sudden have no anxiety. That's pretty cool. I might as well record something. That's pretty cool. Inhale. So I'm gonna exhale. So I need to I forget to breathe sometimes. So I'm gonna record this, and of course, oh, I'm not subscribed. The fuck? I thought I was subscribed. Did it unsubscribe me? Damn. I was gonna say um how like totally missed there's a new EP even though I subscribed, but I guess I wasn't. I think it must have unsubscribed me. I think when you don't watch a channel for long enough, it'll just unsubscribe you automatically, which is so bullshit. Because certain channels don't upload every day, but of course, it's algorithm, whatever. It's the whole point of a lot of the algorithm stuff is to kind of make you upload every day. But point being, besides that, new Cynthoni EP, surprisingly with Mel, which is interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of VTuber stuff. It's just not really my thing. But I know who Mel is. I mean, how could I not? They're pretty influential is not the word, but I remember when they first debuted, came onto the scene. I don't really know what to really say exactly, but when they first kind of came out, it was definitely it was a huge thing. I remember it quite vividly. Um, I mean, like besides like all the stuff happening when they came out, and like little collabs with other YouTubers here and there, I don't really know much about them at all. But I know the type of content they do, and again, not my type of content, but I bring it up to say it's just them of all people is such a it's such a odd collaboration. I know that on one of the other Cynthoni albums, they had them doing vocals on one track, and it kind of caught me off guard. And I do know also, actually, I had this tab open to Google it, but I now thinking about it, probably can't for obvious reasons. But I also know that Melody did a track with this other artist called Ghost Data. I think it was just called Project Melody, which I really like. That came out a long time ago. That one and another track called Full Bodied. Um, I like those a lot. Those are some very good kind of synth heavy club tracks, and those are amazing. The vocals too really tied all together. I've been actually meaning to do a Ghost Data album for quite a while now, but never got around to it. But again, I say this to say it's just I it's just such a odd. I don't know. It's odd to me. I don't know. Again, knowing their usual content, it's weird to see them pop up in music from time to time. And I'm wondering if they have done other stuff that I have just that I haven't heard of. But if you happen to know any other stuff that music wise that Melody has been in, let me know in the comments. I might do a video on it. I might check it out in my off time. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so we're gonna get into this now. This is the Lost in Her Virtual Eyes EP, and this is track one of I think four. One, two, yeah, of four. This should go by pretty quick then. Track one, Take Flight, Earth Noid. Like the Domino's mascot? Probably. I assume not. Liking the atmosphere so far. Oh. That's definitely her voice. Alright. You know, they don't have the best voice, but it works for this. It works. You know, I don't think I've heard this kind of... I mean, I'm not an expert on it, of course, you know. Even I have my limitations with music and stuff, you know. As much as I know, I do have blind spots. I'm not super knowledgeable on, like D&B and jungle and breakcore and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't think I've heard... like, jungle or breakcore or any of that in like a... I don't want to call this a pop context or pop like structure or framework, but like kind of. I think it's just the fact that there's vocals on it. It's making me think that, but even still, like, it kind of makes me wish more of it would have vocals. It definitely adds something to it. Excuse me. Oh, it's the end of it? Man, it's already been like 4 minutes. That's crazy. Just goes by like that, man. Track 2, Lost in Her Virtual Eyes. Melodically, I'm liking this one more than the other one. I wish the melodies in general were stronger, though. I'm liking that. The vocal glitching, or whatever you call it. It's very Madion-esque, which I love when he does that. I wish Porter Robinson does it too, but either way, I wish they do it more. I love that effect, especially in like a ethereal, somewhat sentimental kind of setting. It really works. Liking that bass back there. Not as much effects on their voice in this one. I mean, I say that, and then it immediately has a bunch of effects, but either way, it works. Again, just her tone made some kind of bias I'm unaware of, but her tone vocally definitely works with this kind of music. You know, I'm not really enjoying this as much as the other Cynthoni stuff. I feel like with the other stuff, 'cause this instrumental, there's so much going on instrumentally, and there's a lot of hooks in the instrumental. And there's a lot of, whether it be a melodic synth or just a good beat, or sometimes the texture is just kind of addicting to listen to in like a kind of a stem kind of way. But with this, the focus is on the vocals, which is fine. And I gotta say, I'm really liking the overall sound. I'm just wishing that the vocal melodies were better, because now with the focus on the vocals, there's not as much focus on the instrumental, because they're trying to, now it's not the entire thing, let alone the main focus. It's a background thing, and the vocals are the focus. So there's not too much instrumentally going on compared to the other stuff, And the vocals, they're there, they're doing their job. I just wish that and maybe if I track 3, Snow Crash and Burn, maybe if I listen to it more, it'll grow on me. But I'm actually hoping they do more collabs in the future, because I'm liking the sound. I just hoping they I'm hoping they have some more chances to pull it off to a higher effect. You know, at least I can say the tracks aren't kind of bland, you know. I can tell each one apart so far, at least. They all got their own vibes going on, so they're not like totally, you know, disposable or forgettable or anything. It already feels that this one's kind of fading out, even though there's only like one verse, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's going for a bit longer. It's like half over. I'm wondering who wrote the actual lyrics and who asked who to initiate the collab, who instigated it. Because even on the Ghost data track, some of the lyrics are kind of similar. You know, lyrics about love and or lust, and a lot of like computer analogies and stuff. I like that for a second. That was nice. With the vocals. There it is again. Just tonally, I'm liking it. It reminds me of Jason from the Midnight, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could like this more. I'm just not. But you know, like, hey, if I don't like it, if someone else watching out there does, you know, I'm doing my job. So all I'm trying to do is spread the love, so to speak. You know, introduce music to people who might not know about it. You know. Right, last track, I believe, track 4. Track 4, Feel Sentient Might Delete.
Lost in the matrix, I'm Trinity. Wrapped in latex straps and skin. I bite an apple and fall, and let 'em all there take me in. Take me in harmonics. My passion is chronic. My body's a keyboard. Love your fingered symphonics. Cook me, feel me, make me move. One more sleepless night alone. Bed stays warm synthetically. Won't you share this love with me? I'm mourn the solitude. Sorry, malware, don't mean to be rude. Not me. Keep dropping something, go online. So many straps and cords, I think I could unwind. But as I bask in the searing light, the sound of tokens striking bright. Through the screen, I see your face. Come and join me in this place.
Of course.
I'm feeling sentient. Where? There it is. I see. Interesting. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be. I mean, I might listen to it once or twice again, but I don't know if I'm gonna be returning to this too much. Huh? Oh, new. Okay. Maybe there's a new episode of that or something. Thought it was another collab or something. Um. Oh no, that happened. Yeah, I forgot this. I forgot this isn't new. um. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be returning to this, but I do like like I said before. I like the ideas going into this. You know, I do like that. I'm liking. You know, I like that. I don't know how to even explain it, but you know, just like the addition of vocals is somehow really. I don't know. I like the addition of the vocals. I like that. I like Melody's vocals on them. You know, I think her tone is good, all kind of stuff. Obviously, her singing isn't like the best. There's a lot of effects masked over top of it, but it definitely works for what it is. And the subject matter also works for what it is. And I mean, there's a lot of thoughts going through my mind. You know, one, you know, I was watching this video a while ago on like the history of like breakcore and you know that kind of stuff, and it went through such a weird 180. Like when I think of like how it was in the 90s,
like breakcore and extra tone and that kind of stuff to like now it's so different, you know. And it kind of reminds me of like metal in the 70s or so, in the 80s, early 80s. You have like you know, the traditional like, you know, thrash metal and doom metal, like, you know, all that kind of stuff, and then you have like the hair metal and, you know, all the party stuff that's just so different, you know, just, you know, from like, you know, doom and gloom and, you know, heaviness and stuff to like sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know, all this makeup, all these leather pants, and, you know, a lot of the guys from the last generation were like, they were pretty pissed off and, you know, feel like they kind of destroyed what they were working towards and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of other colorful things I won't say, but it feels similar to me where you have like this genre that's so like abrasive, noisy, has this punk ethos, you know, and now it's like the complete opposite where it's like, you know, the average person who would be listening to something like, you know, this and the other lane core, you know, adjacent stuff is, you know, not gonna be, you know, your crazy, I don't even know what I'd call it back then, but you know, they're definitely gonna be like your doomers and, you know, other, you know, basement dweller types of people, you know, your doomers, your, trying to think of the other terms I forget. I can only remember Gooner. That's not the one I wanna. There's a third one I can't remember. But honestly, in this case, it actually works. So the other thing was, I do really like this concept, like a lot actually. You know, with the lyrics, you know, they remind me a lot of like earlier Vocaloid stuff. You know, from like the first big boom of it, like around the turn of the 2010s, you know, and back then there was a lot of like love songs towards the software and Miku and stuff, and in a very similar way, there's lots of like computer analogies with these love songs and stuff, and obviously with the stuff I've heard from Melody kind of takes it to again, like between lust and love, it's more of a lust thing than a love thing, you know, but it's the same kind of idea. And with the other ones, the vocal ones, I think of like, you know, Real's song, Resonate. It's classic, you know, and that's definitely more like a feel good, you know, happier song, and it kind of pairs with like, you know, you know, it's still very club based, you know, big bass, you know, lots of synths, you know, vocal manipulation, you know, but it's this it's got a more positive, happier tone, you know, dancey, poppy, and this is more of like a atmospheric, you know, it's lustful, it's atmospheric and stuff, and like I feel like besides these like songs here and there, like it is distinct enough it could be like its own genre. I do feel like you know, I mean, what is a genre other than a distinct sound that people decide to give a name to make it easier to, you know, categorize, you know, fine, you know, just for taxonomy's sake, I guess, you know. But I just wish it was pulled off a little better, but I really think that this is I don't want to say they're onto something. That feels very at large, but I actually really do hope they well, both, you know, Cynthoni with other vocalists, or Melody again, you know, or Melody and other, you know, music artists. I hope they continue this, because I mean, again, like I love those two Ghost Data songs, you know, Project Melody and Full Bodied. I think Mel's only on, you know, the obvious one, not both of them, but again, they're definitely more clubby, darker, but more club adjacent, but I'm seeing a really nice two sides of a coin thing kind of happening. You know, I'm seeing this kind of a I don't I just I sorry, it can be cold. Um, I'd like to see more people um do this kind of sound. It's a really interesting sound. It's one I like quite a bit, especially when done really well. And yeah, um, I think that's all I really have to say. Pretty much, I'm gonna start working on a thumbnail now, and then I'm probably going to end up going to bed soon after. But yeah, so other than that, I sorry I wasn't being really I'm not the big emotive guy. I'm not trying to be emotive. I'm just trying to, really listen to the music intently. I'm really trying to focus on what I'm hearing. Excuse me. But hey, um, if you like what you saw, then please subscribe and watch my other videos. Um, I keep saying most. God, pretty much all critics and reactors and reviewers and stuff tend to go to the artists that are the big names, or the artists that are currently releasing stuff for that week, or that month or that quarter or whatever. I try and I go look at artists that are more obscure, genres that are more obscure, albums that are more obscure, and I try and go on that other end. And um, I look at the music that is really good, and for whatever reason, it's just getting kind of overlooked. I try to really give it some more exposure, and every now and then I'll tackle an artist that is definitely a big mainstream artist, but me personally, I tend to like. So let's say at any time there is a new Tool album, I'll do a video on it, or Swans, or Dream Theater, or I guess Cynthoni, I guess is coming into that category. Kikuo, I want to say Acid Bath, but um, so yeah, if you want to find some new music that is cool and you probably haven't heard before, then yeah, check out my other stuff. I'll deep dive into genres live sometimes. I do topic videos sometimes with their express permission. I will also record local live bands. Please support your local music scenes and local bands. I will live stream my practice sessions as well, whether it be drums, keyboard, guitar, bass, whatever. I just fixed my audio and all that, so they should sound a lot better. And I do plan to be releasing music of my own at some point soon, which I always say, but I do think it's coming soon. I'm actually jamming with some people now on a consistent basis. I'm gonna go for the second time on Monday, so hopefully this leads to something. It's only been 10 years. I do mashups in my spare time when I have the time, which is not often, despite all the ideas I do have. And these, any song I like ever gets thrown in these playlists. YouTube is kind of dumb, and through glitches or copyright or whatever, videos disappear all the time. Can't really do much about that. There's probably like a good 500, 800 probably not in there. But if you ever want to use these for your own casual listening, or if you're ever thinking to yourself, what does this guy know about music, then feel free to check these out and listen to them as much as you want. That's pretty much all I have to say. And have a good night, I guess. It's 4:30 in the morning. I really gotta get to bed. Holy shit.